Hey everybody. The topic I chose for my informative speech is about left versus right-handed people and the way the brain is organized. I'd like to go over some interesting facts about right and left brain hemispheres, talk a little bit about left-handedness, and discuss possible causes as to why some people are left-handed. And the reason I chose this topic is because I myself am a lefty, or as some would call us southpaws. I'm sure you've all heard the term, lefties are the only ones in their right minds. If you use your left hand, research suggests that you predominantly use the right side of your brain, and right-handers use the left side of their brain, which means we process things differently. For example, my right-handed sister had tried for the longest to show my left-handed nephew how to tie his shoes, but she never had any luck. I sat down to show him how to tie his shoes, and after about 3 times he got it. Hand preference is a topic scientists have been researching for more than 150 years. Ultimately, it comes down to a variety of factors, partly genetic and partly environmental, but there's no real conclusive evidence to give a definite answer. Scientists have found that brain stimulation can change what hand you use most by using magnetic pulses, which can disrupt the neurons that control motor skills. The studies show that about 15% of people worldwide are left-handed. But when it comes to performing a task that does not require precision, most people are ambidextrous. Inside the human brain, there is a battle every time we want to push a button or reach for a glass of water, because the brain races to decide which hand, the right or the left, will do the job. And this picture down here is showing where the left and the right brain hemisphere is constantly fighting, which means that we have a war going on inside our brains every day that we don't even know about. And these pictures up here is the left hemisphere and the right brain hemisphere. And it states that the right-handed people tend to be better with numbers, masters of words and language, more logical and realistic. They also tend to be more practical, analytical, and better with strategy, as well as more decisive and accurate. While left-handed people tend to be more creative, multitaskers who are sensual and passionate and free-spirited. We tend to have better 3D perception and usually can adjust to seeing underwater quicker. We also tend to be more independent as a result of having to adapt to a world which is largely built for right-handed individuals. And left-handedness has a rich history involving centuries of discrimination. Being left-handed has been associated with badness from the time of the Middle Ages. The word sinister, meaning something or someone who has very bad intentions, comes from the Latin word sinistra, which means left. Left-handedness has been looked down upon for centuries. In fact, many cultures have forced their offspring to become right-handed, regardless of what their natural inclinations were. Many parents have strapped their left-handed children's hands down and forced them to use their right hand. But today, we left-handed people actually have a National Left-Handers Day, and it was first celebrated on August 13, 1976. And the purpose of the day is to both celebrate left-handedness and raise awareness of the unnecessary biases against left-handers. And in spite of long-standing belief, left-handed people are not any clumsier than right-handed people. They do have trouble manipulating items that are made for right-handed use, such as can openers and scissors, but they actually manage better than right-handed people who attempt to use similar items made for left-handed people. Some theoretical causes of left-handedness are associated with birth or prenatal trauma, hormonal imbalances such as exposure to high levels of testosterone in the womb. For example, a recent study has shown that exposure to higher than normal levels of estrogen can increase the chances of a baby being a lefty. Evidence has shown a link between trauma during gestation or during birth, which leads scientists to believe that babies who are exposed to traumas within the womb are more likely to exhibit left-handed tendencies. And it could be that this early trauma is also the trigger behind health problems linked to left-handedness. And 2 famous left-handers, Presidents Bill Clinton and George H.W. Bush, can be used as evidence. Both had histories of birth stress and have health issues. Left-handed people are more likely to be insomniacs, more prone to migraines and allergies, more likely to suffer from stuttering and dyslexia, although we are more likely to recover from a stroke faster. Left-handed people tend to be more likely on the extreme ends of the intelligence scale. For example, lefties tend to have higher numbers of mentally retarded people and higher numbers of people with high IQs. It may be that left-handed people occupy the extremes when it comes to health and ability. The anomaly is left-handed people make up the extremely gifted and the extremely compromised, and the right-handed people just make up the middle ground. But handedness isn't limited to humans. It runs through the animal world as well. Chimpanzees, cats, chickens, toads, mice, and even rats have all been observed to have a dominant hand. So, in conclusion, being left or right-handed has to do with how the right and left sides of the brain relate to one another, and evidence supports the idea that there are clear differences between the way left-handed and right-handed people think. Thank you.